All right, what's up, everyone? We are live. All right. Hold on, just gotta check one thing. Okay, yeah, we are live. Okay. Good. Just want to check my windows here. Okay. That's good. Okay. We are going to go through the notes for tonight's game. And remember, as I said at the beginning of this series, I was thinking it was going to be Mariners in 7. Once the Mariners won Game 5, I was like, oh, maybe they'll close out in Game 6. They did not. So I was right on my first hunch that it would go 7. If the Mariners win, that's still yet to be determined, but we're going to talk about it. So starting off, remember just yesterday, we had the death of Jesus Montero, right? We had the death of Jesus Montero, November 28th. So he died 40 days before his birthday. So that means today is 39 days before his birthday. Canada equals 39, as you see right there. Remember, he had his first ever major league hit on September 3rd, or the 3rd of September. That's the day leaving 119 days left in the year. That was against the Blue Jays. And of course, that following off season, he was traded to the Mariners, which equals 119. But anyways, it's a span of 40 days. And remember, he made his debut on the day leaving 121 days left in the year, when 121 is the 40th semi-prime. So yesterday was 40 days before his birthday. Today's a span of 40 days before his birthday. And today also has 39 date numerology as well. Today is the 293rd day of the year, which is the 62nd prime. There's Seattle Mariners 62. You see right there? Seattle Mariners 62. It's also the day leaving 72 days left in the year, like how Toronto equals 72. Do you see right there? All right, so for the Blue Jays, they have 100 wins on the season, 72 losses. So could they remain on 72 losses on the day leaving 72 days left in the year? It's also the 73rd to last day of the year. I don't think there's any 26 connections. Let me just check. No 26s. But remember, Seattle Mariners equals 100. And these whole playoffs have been synced up with Minoru Yamasaki and 9/11 and Pearl Harbor. Attack on Pearl Harbor is 314, or 314 is the 100th semi-prime. So it would be fitting for them to stay on to finish the season with 100 wins against the Seattle Mariners. The Blue Jays playoff record. Let's just do. Is that gonna do it? Oh, hold on. Now I gotta take this out. Blue Jays playoff record: 37-40. Seattle Mariners does equal 179, which is the 41st prime. So it'd be fitting for them to get their 41st playoff loss against the Seattle Mariners. As for 38, I don't remember seeing anything. And yeah, it's not 38. It's 39 date numerology, not 38 date numerology. The starter for tonight is Bieber. His name also equals 41. And that reminds you, or actually it reminds us, that Justin Bieber, Shane Bieber is not related to Justin Bieber, but they have the same last name. Justin Bieber is from Toronto. Well, I don't know if he's technically from Toronto, but he's from like the Toronto area, basically. Yeah, he's from London, That's not really, I don't know, it's probably like an hour outside of Toronto. But yeah, the thumbnail is him in a Blue Jays jersey. And it is, as I said, if we look at the Blue Jays home playoff record. Blue Jays home playoff record, you will see they have 19 playoff wins at home all time. Today, before Justin Bieber's next birthday, if you include the span, it's a span of exactly 19 weeks. So they could stay on 19 home playoff wins 19 weeks before Justin Bieber's birthday. And I forget, does Bieber equal... Okay, Bieber equals 32. Bieber, yeah, and it will be Justin Bieber's 32nd birthday coming up in March. So it was a span of 133, is that right? No, sorry. Yeah, span of 133. 133 is the 44th semi-prime. And where's our 44? Seattle's 44. Toronto Blue Jays is 193, the 44th prime. Yeah, it probably is connected to him. The Toronto Blue Jays are 6-4 in this year's playoffs. Toronto, Ontario, where the game is being played, is 74. So that's a good reason for them to think they might win. However, John Schneider, if we look at John Schneider, who is the Blue Jays manager, his playoff record is, I don't think, is this updated? Yeah, this is not quite updated. We have to check, go to his baseball reference page, because that'll be more updated. Here, so we'll see here that, does it have his playoff record at all? Thought it would have his playoff record, but maybe not. But anyways, he's 5-7. Is that, no? Sorry, 6-8. He's 6-8 in the playoffs. Because the Blue Jays are 6-4 in the playoffs right now, and he was 0-4 before then. Rogers Center, where the game is being played, equals 69. Jesus Montero is also 69. I forget. Does Canada also equal 69? No, it doesn't. But Canada 69 is the 24th semi-prime. Yeah, 69, the 24th semi-prime. So he could fall to 6-9. Also, his birthday is February 14th, Valentine's Day. So it is 117 days or a span of 118, depending on how you look at it. 117. Where's our 117? Toronto's 117. Dodgers, who they would play, equals 117. As for being a span of 118, Los Angeles, California equals 118, although that'll actually play better for the Mariners, which I will talk about later. Of course, because if Seattle wins, they'll play the Dodgers will have home field advantage, so that series will be in LA. But if the Blue Jays win, the Blue Jays will have home field advantage, so you can't really count Los Angeles, California for the Blue Jays side. It would just have to be Los Angeles Dodgers or Los Angeles or Dodgers. The Blue Jays are... let's do Blue Jays 2025 record versus Mariners, including playoffs. We are going to see that they are 7-5 versus the Mariners this year. So Toronto Blue Jays, wherever it is, Toronto Blue Jays is 85, but Justin Bieber's full name, Justin Drew Bieber, is 76. Also, Seattle Mariners equals 226. 226 is the 76th semi-prime. Remember earlier LSU won the College World Series. This is 2025 College World Series. So it's here. This was the 78th edition. LSU won it. They won it all on the 26th of June, or sorry, 22nd of June. That's 22/6. And remember, LSU also won the 2023 College World Series, which was the 76th edition. And remember, Skull and Bones has got that 76. 41 and 76. Their manager is Jay Johnson. His name equals 41 as well. Yeah, so that is 226. Watch out for that. Yeah, they would fall to 7-6 against the Mariners for the year. Against the Blue Jays, or just say Blue Jays record versus Mariners in playoffs. They are 3-5 against the Mariners in the playoffs all time. Toronto does equal 36. Toronto 36. And they are 1-4 at home. Canada equals 15. They could fall to 1-5. I didn't see anything in the overall head-to-head matchup. The Blue Jays record on today's date, October 20th, is 2-1 overall. So they could fall to 2-2. Toronto, Ontario equals 79, which is the 22nd prime. That could be reaching a little bit. That seems like a very specific detail. And they've only played once in Game 7, 0-1 record. This is the Blue Jays record in Game 7. Yeah, they've only played one Game 7. That was back in 1985. So that was 40 years ago. Remember, 121 is the 40th semi-prime. Toronto, or Bieber equals 121. Toronto Blue Jays equal, oh sorry, it's just Blue Jays equals 121. Of course, whoever wins this game will go to the 121st World Series. All right, now for the Blue Jays starter, as I mentioned earlier, Shane Bieber. If you look at his birthday, it's May 31st. So you'll see it's exactly 223 days. If you include the span, that's exactly 32 weeks. And I said Bieber equals 32. Shane Bieber, if we look at his stats here, so he has 66 wins in the regular season, plus 2 in the playoffs. That's 68 total wins. He can get his 69th win, as I said earlier. Rogers Center does equal 69. However, if you see here, 1 playoff loss, 34 regular season losses. That's 35 playoff losses. Toronto equals 36. There's your Toronto 36. He's 5-2 this season. This is a 4-2 in the regular season. 1-0 in the playoffs, that's 52. If the game is indeed synced up with Justin Bieber, like I am anticipating, Justin Bieber does equal 53. But Seattle Mariners equals 62, wherever that is. Seattle Mariners 62. So that could go either way for the starters. Okay, so I've touched on the Blue Jays side of things. Now let's go to the Mariners side. The Mariners 2025 record, including playoffs. The Mariners are... Wait, what the heck? Oh, yeah, no, that's correct. I'm sorry. I was tripping for a sec. Although I think that's... No, that's correct. They are 96 and 77. My notes are incorrect that I'm reading off of. That's why I was tripping. Okay. Yes. So the most important thing for the Mariners, they can get their 97th win of the season to advance to the World Series. Mariners is 97. This game is not in Seattle, Washington, but Seattle WA equals 25. Remember, 97 is the 25th prime number. The Mariners record in playoffs is 23-27. So the Mariners can get their 24th playoff win. As I said earlier, Canada's 24. And also has 39 date numerology. The Mariners record on road in playoffs. The Mariners have 12 wins and 14 losses in the playoffs. If they win this game, they'll be 13-14, and they would play LA next, 13-14. Also remember this game. This game is in. If you look at Toronto, Toronto coordinates. Toronto is on the 43rd parallel north, 79th meridian west. Remember, I was just talking about 79, how the Blue Jays can fall to 2-2 all time on this date. And 43, why is 43 so important? Toronto ON 43, Mariners 43. Do we have any 191s in here? Sandy Alomar Sr., whose 82nd birthday would have been yesterday, and he died last week. His name equals 191, which is the 43rd prime number. LA equals 14. Remember, 43 is the 14th prime number. So, yeah, that would make a lot of sense for them to get to 13-14 to go face LA. The Mariners' record in this year's playoffs is 6-5. I remember yesterday they were 5-6 against the Blue Jays for the season, and I thought, they're gonna get to 6-6 because Rogers Center equals 66, but that didn't happen. They lost to 5-7. So, as for getting to, we'll talk about 67 in a little bit, but I don't think there's any 75s on the table here for the Mariners. It would be tonight is their 51st ever playoff game. Remember, there's all those 51s that I've talked about earlier. And it is 230. It is a span of 233 days before. What was it? It was a span. It's not a span. It's 233 days after Justin Bieber's birthday, which is the 51st prime number. And tonight the Mariners are playing their 51st playoff game. So that's something to think about. The Mariners manager, Dan Wilson. So as you see here, 111 wins in the regular season. I don't know why it's not showing his postseason wins. But anyways, he's got 6 wins on the postseason. That means he has 117. As we talked about earlier, Toronto is 117. But that means he can get his 118th win as the Mariners will then travel to Los Angeles, California on the 118th meridian. So to me, that makes a lot of sense. He'll get his 118th win so the Mariners can go play in LA. Something of note, it is also 156 days before his birthday. Oh, was it? Oh, no, his birthday is March 25th. That's what it is. March 25th. So it's 156 days before his 57th birthday. Remember, 9/11 is the 156th prime. So something to think about if there's, because remember this whole thing has been connected with Pearl Harbor and 9/11 and Minoru Yamasaki and all those Japanese players. So does he advance on his 156 days before his birthday? We'll have to find out. He's also got 90 losses overall. So they won 90 games this year. You see, he has 85 losses, is 5 in the postseason, so that's 90. 121, if we can find 121 here. 121 is the 90th composite number. And of course, the Mariners ballpark is right where Interstate 90 ends. And as I mentioned, well, I guess one thing that I forgot to mention, this is Dan Wilson's first time in the playoffs. So he is 6-5 in the playoffs. Today does have 75 date numerology. 10, 20, 20, 25. 75. So that would go in favor of the Mariners if that were to happen. Mariners record versus Blue Jays in 2025, including playoffs. The Mariners are 5-7. Oh, I need to spell including correctly. Including playoffs. The Mariners are 5-7 against the Blue Jays this year. And here's where the 67s come in favor of the Mariners. Los Angeles CA equals 67. 67 is also the 19th prime number. And Seattle equals 19. As you see there. Remember 19 hijackers on 9/11. And then there's all those 19 connections with... There's all those Seattle connections with 9/11. And the Mariners record versus Blue Jays. Let's do Mariners record at Blue Jays in 2025, including playoffs. They are 4-2 on the road against the Blue Jays this year. Sandy Alomar Sr., who just died last week, his name equals 52. Mariners, I think Mariners is not equal 52. Mariners equals 43, so maybe they could fall to 4-3. Toronto ON is also 43, and we said it's on the 43rd parallel. Do Mariners record versus Blue Jays in playoffs. The Mariners are 5-3 against the Blue Jays in the playoffs. I don't think there were any 63s. There were not. Okay, that's... Although, is 63 the 44th composite? Hang on. Yeah, 63 is the 44th composite, and Seattle's 44. So that's something to keep in mind. And if we do Mariners record at Blue Jays in playoffs, you'll see they are 4-1 at the Blue Jays in the playoffs all time. And so if they win, they'll get to 5-1. And as I mentioned earlier, it is 233 days after Justin Bieber's birthday, the 51st prime. And the Mariners have only played one game in history on this date. And they've never played in a Game 7. This is the only game they've played on this date in history. Again, that was 39 days after 9/11. And now we're here on 39 date numerology, when Canada equals 39. And remember, the Mariners entered these playoffs with 39 all-time playoff games played. I have to think a bit more about 143. I know that's a semi-prime. It's the 48th semi-prime. Not sure what that means. But the I know that in this game, the Mariners would have become 4-4 in the playoffs for that year. I think this would have been their 15th playoff win. Just like Mariners record in playoffs before 2002. Then I can just subtract. So they would have fallen to they would have gotten to 15-17 in those playoffs because this was game 3, and it was also their 120th win of the year, and it would have been they would have been 120-50. We know that Illuminati is 120, and of course they ended up losing the next game, which I've talked about before. And I specifically said how this game, the game 5 that the Mariners played the other day, where they hit the go-ahead grand slam, felt like a reversal of this game from 24 years ago. But yeah, in this game, the Mariners would have become 120-51 on the season, like how the Illuminati was founded on 5/1 by Adam Weishaupt, which equals 51. Yeah, so they would have gotten their 120th win on 10/20. And now they're trying to, again, that was the only time in history they've played on this day. Can they stay undefeated on this day in history? I guess we'll find out. But the Mariners starter is George Kirby. George Kirby. So you can see he is 45-35 overall because he's 45-34 and 0-1 in the postseason. So 45-35 overall. He can get his 36th loss. And Toronto's got that 36. Something to keep in mind, it is 107 days before his birthday. Since he's born February 4th. Today before February 4th of this year is 107 days. Again, and Seattle's got that 107. So is that a sign? I don't know. There's no 28s in here, but that's okay. This year he's 10-8 in the regular season. You can see right there, 10-8 in the regular season, 0-1 in the playoffs. That means he's 10-9 on the year. If the Mariners do win today, he will be, well, I should say, if he gets the win today, he will be 11-9 on the year. But just a couple of thoughts. They said Brian Wu said he's good to pitch today and felt good coming out. So Brian Wu's, as I said here, it's 263 days after his birthday. Just to show you, Brian Wu, his birthday is January 30th. I actually saw Brian Wu pitch a few times in college because I went to Cal Poly as well. I think I was a senior when he was a freshman, and he was no good. He was terrible as a pitcher at Cal Poly. And then, like, about midway through his junior year, like, he was a starter, and then they pulled him as a starter. They put him to the bullpen, and once he went to the bullpen, he was, like, really good. And then the Mariners drafted him, and he's done well. So I guess good for him, but it's just one of those weird things. It's like he was no good for 2.5 years, and then all of a sudden he was good. But anyways, his birthday is January 30th. And he's from Oakland, too, like how Doug Martin's from Oakland, the running back for the former Buccaneers running back that just died. So 130. Is it after his birthday? Yeah, 263 days after his birthday. Remember, that's the 56th prime. Remember, 263 is a huge 9/11 number as well. Again, Mariners 56. All right, yeah, and 56 is huge with the Mariners. Remember, with their win on Friday, they became 5-6 against the Blue Jays for the season. So do not be surprised at all if he comes into the game. And it is think it's 103 days before his birthday. Yeah, it's a span of 103 days before his birthday. Also, a span of 14 weeks and 5 days. 145 is the 49th semi-prime, like how it's both teams' 49th season. 103, like how the Mariners currently have 27 playoff losses, so they could stay on 100. Remember, 103 is the 27th prime. They could stay on 27 playoff losses. All right, I have a feeling we will see him in tonight's game. Also, a couple of other players. Jorge Polanco has the same birthday as Shohei Ohtani. He was just born a year earlier, July 5th. So that's like the 5th of July, 5/7. We know that's a big World Series number. From his last birthday until today is 107 days. Remember, Seattle's 107. Wherever Seattle went. Seattle 107, as you see right there. There was another guy. Who was it? Remember Julio Rodriguez, who wears number 44. We were talking about 44 just a minute ago. He's got that very Jesuit birthday of 12/29. Until his birthday is 70 days. Remember, 70 is 56 in base 8. Or should I say 56 is 70 in base 8. But after his birthday, wrong way. Okay. That's probably a bit of a stretch for him. But and then the other guy, Eugenio Suarez. Wait, hold on. Did I say it was? I forget. When did I say George Kirby's birthday was? Okay, so it's 107 days after Polanco's birthday and 107 days before the starter George Kirby's birthday. Okay, that's interesting. Eugenio Suarez, who's kind of been a hero. So after his birthday, 94 days. Seattle, Washington, 3 months and 2 days to 32 sun rays on the Jesuit logo. Bieber equals 32 as well. All right, just a couple of other things. I mean, Simple Truth said the Blue Jays are going to win, so that's already one reason to doubt the Blue Jays. Another thing is the Mariners hashtag this postseason is seize the moment. And seize the moment does equal Jesuit order in 3 out of the 4 ciphers. And yeah, Vlad Guerrero showed up wearing an Austin Matthews jersey, and Austin Matthews has never won a Game 7. He's played like 4 or 5 Game 7s in his career. He's lost all of them. And also Austin Matthews wears number 34, as you see right there. And of course, if the Blue Jays lose, they'll be 3-4 in the series. Remember the other day, the Blue Jays, or not the Blue Jays, oh my God, the Maple Leafs, they tied the score at 3 in the third period, and then they lost in overtime 3-4 to Seattle, and the Blue Jays fell to 3-3 on the year. Because remember, that's all, that one right there, that's also a loss. So they have 3 wins and 3 losses on the year. Just like how the series right now is tied at 3, and then they lost 4-3 in overtime. Does that mean Seattle is going to win the series 4-3? We'll find out. But I mean, Vlad Guerrero wearing an Austin Matthews jersey, maybe that's just like fake bait. But man, I feel like that's a shaming ritual. I mean, we'll see. Yeah, and also I retweeted that thing about chemtrails and contrails. I mean, I think chemtrails are one of those things that's like, I think it's not as bad as flat Earth, but it's I think it's not as real as some truthers make it out to be. But that's another topic for another time. We should look at the records of the home teams in the playoffs. Oh, I have to close that one. Okay, that's why. All right. Home teams in the playoffs. They're 23 and 16. Blue Jays equals 23. Canada does equal 24, so that could be... I'll add that in there. Canada equals 24. They're 4 and 6 in the LCS. That one could go either way. As for game sevens, again, that one I didn't see anything that stood out there. I went through all of the game sevens in MLB history and tried to figure out. It is the 62nd ever game 7, and Seattle Mariners does equal 62. Yeah, the only this one could go against the Mariners here. Possible scores. I really don't know. I listed some scores I think that are possible. Although I do really like the possibility of, if it did end up 39-33 for the final score, because right now the score is, where do I have it listed on here? There it is, 27-33. So Seattle has 27, Toronto has 33. Again, this is the 62nd game 7. If Seattle or Toronto won 2-0, there'd be 62 total runs. Seattle Mariners equals 62. Again, I was talking a lot about 51 with Seattle, how it's 233 days after Justin Bieber's birthday. If either team won 5-1, it'd be 66 total runs. I think Toronto winning in either 6-0 or 7-0 also has some, what you call it, has some, I don't want to say momentum, but yeah, I guess it does have, I would say momentum, but I don't know, because it would be, I mean, if Seattle won 12-0, that would be like the ultimate New York thing. 39-33. Seattle was once called, I shouldn't say it used to be called New York, but the initial settlement was called New York, and then they'd be playing LA, where they used to be the Brooklyn Dodgers in New York. I don't think Seattle's going to win 12-0. And there would be 72 total runs, but I wouldn't be shocked if it's, so we said here it's 27-33. I wouldn't be shocked if it goes like 6-6 into extra innings, because then it would be, what would it? And then it would be 39-33 Toronto, and then so it'd be 72 total runs for the time being. King Richard, I saw the thing with Demarius Thomas. I feel like other people have already covered it. I don't really need to cover it. But yeah, I saw people that like don't even know anything about gematria numerology were like, whoa, they scored 33 points in the fourth quarter for Demarius Thomas, who died at age 33. And also, I feel like Demarius Thomas, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think like his mom died when he was like super young or something like that. So yeah, let's just take a look at that while we're at it. I remember I always got confused when I was younger, because how did I put an extra, the Y comes before the I. Okay. Yeah, and I remember I always got confused because he also had a teammate named Julius Thomas. I remember there were 2 Thomases on the Broncos, and then there was also a Demarius Moore, who was another wide receiver in the NFL. So I remember just getting them all confused when I was younger. But yeah, I think it says here, yeah, his mother sentenced to 20 years in prison, and his grandmother also to life. Yeah, he died at age 33. They scored 33 points in the fourth quarter. Yeah, I mean, I don't really pay that much attention to football right now. So, I mean, other people have talked about it. I don't think it connects to baseball at all. It might connect to football because college football. I know Georgia Tech's doing well in college football. So yeah, I might connect there. Let's see. You think 6-3 Blue Jays. So if it was 6-3 Blue Jays, that would mean, so it would mean 30-39 for 69 total runs. And I forget, what was our 69? Our 69 was, yeah, Illuminati 69, Roger Center 69, Jesus Montero 69. That's possible. The 36, Toronto 36, Dodgers 36. Right, in Canada 39, they'd have 39 runs for the series. That's possible. I mean, I just feel like it's one of those things where everyone's on the Blue Jays because they won last night. They have the momentum. But I feel like I said before, well, actually, I need to go back to my other notes. I said before, entering the LCS, that Mariners Dodgers had the best riddle for a World Series. I guess that if there is a Blue Jays Dodgers World Series, it would be a Kobe tribute because that game was against Toronto. However, he scored 122, or the Dodgers, not the Dodgers, the Lakers scored 122 points in that series, in that game. And this is the 121st World Series, not the 122nd. So I feel like that wouldn't really be applicable to this year. Maybe next year, because next year is the 122nd World Series. So I think maybe next year. Yeah, because next year because that game was in 2006, and next year is like 26. Remember, take out the zeros. 2006 is just 26. Oh yeah, I know the last time I saw Shane Bieber wears number 57. World Series equals 57. World 20. You mean 50? 57 is 57 is the 20th semi-prime day, is the 20th day of the month. How many days are left? Did I say it was 72 days left in the year? Is that right? Yeah, I think I said it was 72 days left in the year. I don't know. I feel like there's just been too many 51s this year for the Mariners not to make it. I think if it's Blue Jays Dodgers, I think the Dodgers are winning it. If it's Mariners Dodgers, I think the Mariners are winning it. But we'll still have to see. There's one more game in the LCS to be played. I don't know. It also kind of reminds me of a couple of years ago when the Phillies and D-backs were playing, and everyone thought the Phillies were gonna take that game 7, but no, the D-backs took that one. And I guess remember there was a Panthers versus Maple Leafs game. So I remember the Panthers and Maple Leafs. This was Toronto's game 7 from earlier this year. Let's just take a look at how many days before. So 155. What is this? 155? 155. Yeah, 155 is the 51st semi-prime. Yeah, there's probably a connection. to this game. I wonder who was the lone scorer for the Maple Leafs in that game. It's Max Domi. But of course, the Panthers went on to win the Stanley Cup. So that means the Maple Leafs finished the season with 59 wins. Remember, Toronto Blue Jays equals 59. And John Schneider I think he can fall to 5 and, no, he can't. No, he's going to fall, if he loses, they'll fall to 6 and 9. I forget. Was there a 59 with today? Oh, that's right. The home teams can get their 17th loss in the playoffs, which is the 59 is the 17th prime number. That's the only 59 with today. Well, I guess I didn't look at home records for the year. I probably should have done that. All right, that'll be the last thing I do before I end it for the day. So yeah, the Blue Jays 54, and then they were 3-2, 57 and 29. Let's add that on there. 57 and 29 at home, and there definitely was a 58. No, there was no 58. So the Mariners on the road, I think they don't have a good road record. They are 39 and 42 on the road. So that means they were 1-1 against Detroit. So that's 41 or 40, and then 42 and 44. Is that right? Yes, they would have been 40 and 42, 40 and 43. Then they would have been 42. Yeah, so they're 42 and 44. Yeah, I mean, 42 and 44 on road. Mariners record on road in 2025, including playoffs. Even, I have to spell playoffs correctly. Playoffs. 42 and 44. So if they win, they'll be 43 and 44. Mariners 43. Toronto and 43. 43rd parallel. And then Seattle 44. Yeah, that makes sense for the Mariners. That's enough for today. Just remember, simple truth, pick the Blue Jays to win. So take that as whatever you think it means, but I think that's enough, and we'll see what happens in tonight's game.